PowerShell and WMI. So this is going to be a book review. I don't usually do this stuff. I don't usually read books about this stuff. I'm kind of oh crap, I have a problem, let me Google the crap out of it for a solution kind of guy. But I made a video about WMI, and Jeffrey Hicks left a little comment about a book that I can read, and later I found his blog in the back of this, so I'm wondering if he's getting a cut from this. No, I'm just kidding. Either way, it was a good book. It's by Richard Siddaway, and it goes in depth about PowerShell and WMI. And you can tell it's a very sophisticated book because it's got a very sophisticated gentleman on the front here. And I really enjoyed it. Let me just read to you a really quick piece in the back here that pretty much tells you a lot about it. You've come a long way since you started on this journey. You've learned how to use PowerShell and WMI to manage many parts of your environment, including the following: computer systems and hardware, performance counters and stability measures, file system, event logs and page files, printers and scheduled jobs, disk systems, network configurations, IIS, DNS and Hyper-V, the registry, local accounts, and groups. So as you can tell, it goes through a whole lot. The book kind of starts by touching on explaining what WMI is and its greater or parent model, the CIM, the Common Information Model, and WMI is pretty much Windows or Microsoft's implementation of that model. And it goes into a lot of PowerShell kind of examples and things to start out with that you might know if you've worked with PowerShell a lot, but it's good to get a refresher on that stuff, especially at the start of a book that's going to get into some really deep stuff. And the book is basically based around code examples. So as you see on the front here, it says covers 150 practical concepts, and he has a lot of functions in here that he's created. And if you buy the book, it comes with this little code sheet in here where you can download all of the functions that he's talking about in his book. So it's pretty much discussions around these functions that were created, and they're about solving problems. So he'll state a problem, and then he'll talk about a way to solve that problem, and then it goes through the code that he used. And it was a really fun read. You can tell that it's written from perspective. A lot of these technical books will just be really sort of generic-y in the way that they're worded, and I don't really like that. I like that you could tell that this was a person here pretty much going off of their experience and how they, approach things. So I like that. There was a lot of little jokes here and there that kind of broke into or broke out of the codiness. There's just a lot of code in here, and the great thing about that as well is that there's a lot of extra tricks in here related to PowerShell, not just WMI, that I wasn't even aware of. And so this added a whole bunch of value to me in regards to being more effective in writing PowerShell code, not just with WMI, but PowerShell in general. And the book goes really deep into a lot of WMI stuff, and even goes further into other areas, as I mentioned earlier, IIS, Hyper-V. WMI has a lot of value in a lot of different ways, and it touches on a lot of sort of pitfalls that you can have if you're not familiar with WMI, because it's got its own sort of syntax, and then there's the WQL, which is the query language. So it was really good. I feel like I understand a lot more thanks to this book. Really glad I picked it up. Like I said, I'm not really a book kind of guy, but on my train to work and home, I picked it up and just read through it, and it was something that I could, read here and there. I didn't have to be too involved because it's just the the way that it's formed, you know, these practical techniques. You would be on a discussion about printers, and then you just, you know, worry about print drivers or the configuration, and then you'd be talking about network stuff. So I liked it. I definitely do recommend it. It's not a hardcore technical book. It's got a lot of fun bits to it. It's a good read. It's a fun read. I liked it. PowerShell and WMI by Richard Siddaway. And that's it. Thanks for watching.